So welcome to part 3 of Clone to Code, where we are cloning a Don't Touch the Tile / Piano Tile type of game using p5.js. So in the previous tutorial, this is where we ended off. One tile that goes down the canvas in a certain column or in a track that we've called it here. And we can change the track by changing the values right here. So let's say we want it on track 2. And it will be about there. So track 2 is right there. So what we want to do in this tutorial now is to create multiple keys in different tracks and maybe add functionality for key presses. The first thing we're going to need to do here is let's do this. We're going to say key instead of k, and we're going to make it an array. So what this does is it says we're going to have a list of objects in one object, and then here we're going to create a function add keys with a num underscore. So what this means is this function is going to loop through and create as many keys as we need it to have with a for loop. And the for loop is only going to go how many times? The amount we've specified. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a key at the index position that we're currently looping at. And we're going to, in that index, we're going to create an object. So new key at what position? 0 position. At what size? T dot get size, and at what lane? T dot get lane. So if we did this, it would be all at the same position with the same size and in the same lane. So if we ran this, okay, we can't actually do that right now, but what we can do is we go in the draw function, we take out all this, and we actually create a for loop that will loop through each object and actually show each object individually. So for, and then instead of things, we're going to say key, and key here would be, so we can copy that back in, and instead of key, we're going to have key with its object or with its index of I, and it will show and it will give speed. So if we take this and we actually run this, it's going to give us an error, or it's going to show nothing. So it gave us an error. If we're going to inspect, we can see the error. Console. There's an error. Something has been taken in line 1. In line 1. Okay. Oh, we need to put equal sign. But that's not the only error we have. The other error we have is that we made the function, but we haven't actually called it anyway. So up here, we're going to say add keys and then give it a number, which is, let's say we want 10 keys. And right here, there's no such variable as k anymore. We have it as keys. So we can delete that. Sorry, I haven't purchased you yet. Cancel that, save it. And now we have no errors, which is very good. So we've created the keys. We've made the keys and we've shown the keys. So you might say, hey Romeo, shouldn't it show? Yes, it should show actually. And what's the probs? Okay, the problem is that new key at T, we haven't actually initialized or given it a lane. So let's give it a lane of 1. And now we're going to see that everything is not a function. Key.show is not a function. So let's rename this keys. Sometimes that's the problem. Control S. Show is not a function. At 22.show. Keys at index.show. Keys. Then keys here is. Voila. So we have 1 now. 1 key. But we had 10. We initialized 10, which is true. But again, it's all in the same position. It all has the same data. So we want to change that. Let's start by changing it to different lanes. So the first thing we're going to do is say let our lane equal random lane from 0 to 4 or 5. Let's say 5. So it will give us a value from 1, 2, 3 or 4. And what's going to happen with random is actually it will give us a floating point object, which will be like 1.055313, which we don't want. So how we get rid of that is we take this out and we actually enclose it in something called a floor method. So floor is a method that just gives the absolute value of whatever you pass through it, and it's found in the math.floor function, or it's found in the math function of JavaScript. So you can copy the rand in there, say save, and okay, we didn't actually put it in, and that will be our rand, our lane, should I say our lane. And now we have, if we do this again, we're going to see it in different lanes. Our lane is not defined. Our lane is not defined. Our lane is not defined. Why is that? Oh, that's because it's a capital L. And then we go back, and this is what happens. So if we check here and we say console.log our lane, what do we find? We find that it's 24321, but it doesn't show it everywhere. So why is that? Why is that? We gave it a size, we gave it a lane. Let's just make sure that in track, or should I say in key, let's see key, position, size and lane. Position, size and lane. So lane we got right because it gives us this, and size we got right because it gives us the size. Okay, maybe we should just do this. So position, now this is the thing, we want the previous position or the next key to be on top of the previous key's position. So how we do that is by, actually we need a few things, or one thing at least, which is to have the height. So we have to go into track and we're going to create a function called this dot get height, which is a function which returns this dot get size plus width divided by 4. You might see that that is very familiar to keys.height, which is exactly the same thing. We want the same result. And why we're doing it here is because if we try to get it from here, we can't, because we are busy creating the key. So we can't get it from the key that is not created yet. So we just get it from track. So we say t.get height. And we say .get height, but that's also not enough. So we have the height, but now we want to have it on top of the previous one. So what do we do by doing that? Is times I, and what we do is we actually enclose this. So that value as a minus. So as the negative of its value, meaning it will be on top of the previous position. So, but it doesn't show anything. Why doesn't it show anything? Because we created a show keys.show, it shows the keys. Fucking hell. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, sorry guys. So the reason it didn't show, or the reason it's not showing, is because right here in the for loop, I said key instead of keys. So if I say save and I replay, still nothing. Oh my word. Okay, what else is there? Okay, I'm back. So sorry about that. The reason it's not working or it's not showing is a few things. First of all, here in key, we have to say S because that's keys. And then here at get size, we should create a function. It's not a function. And that's about it. So let's try that again. And there we have it. I've made it a bit slower the first time. Let's make it faster. Let's make it. So we need 10 keys. 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is tutorial number 3. Yes, number 3. I hope you enjoyed. See you in part 4.